Morning, students. In the previous class of class 9, we discussed about the inertia. And inertia is the concept where Galileo reached through one experimental setup. Okay, so moving forward, now we will see that Sir Isaac Newton put forwarded three laws of motion. Okay, and what are those three laws of motion? Let us see, and what is the story and what is the concept behind it. We will study one by one. Now, so three laws of motion. Three laws of motion. Proposed by Newton. Number one, Newton's first law. It is only known as Newton's first law. Students, Newton's first law gave rise to the idea of inertia and momentum. This gave rise to the idea of inertia and momentum. Very important point. Momentum. These two concept was developed from the Newton's first law of motion, whereas in the Newton's second law of motion, it was derived, relation was derived in Newton's second law, derives the relationship between force and acceleration. Force and acceleration. Produced. Whereas Newton's third law of motion states about the action and reaction pair. Okay, action and reaction pair of the force, because in this law we will study about the cause and effect of the forces. So this gives the idea to arise the concept of force, okay, in the form of cause, and effect. Newton's first law gives rise to the idea of inertia and momentum. I will explain one by one and what is the concept behind it in Newton's first law. In the second law, relationship was derived between the force and acceleration produced. In the third law, it gives the idea to the concept of force in the form of cause and effect. That means action and reaction pair. Action and reaction pair. Okay. So one by one, I will clear all the issues. Students, the topic is inertia and mass and fundamental concept for the Newton's first law. Inertia. Inertia means we know that whenever a body is continuing its state at state of rest or in a state of motion, it likes to continue or it tends to continue in the same state until unless the external agent of force not getting applied onto the body. So students, inertia means what? Inertia means this is the property of a body due to which it resists any change in the state of their body. So we will write inertia means the property of a body to resist any change in its state of rest or state of motion. Students, in the Galileo's experimental concept of motion, we have come to the conclusion and we have found it. There's one property and very inherent property in every body, every entity in the universe, and that property is called inertia. Okay? Because a state of rest body will continue to be in a state of rest, and state of motion, if body is in motion, it continues to be in a state of motion. So this inherent property that was actually observed, concluded by Galileo, that they do not want to change their state of body. So this property is actually called inertia. Now the another topic is mass. Students, these both topics, inertia and mass, both are interrelated, interconnected somewhere. Okay? See, suppose if I am having a toy car, okay? If I am having toy car, now this toy car and another one which is original car, okay? Which is original car. This is original car and this is toy car. Now this toy car can be pushed by a smaller force. Only 5 Newton force is enough to displace from one position to the another position, A to the B position. But this original car will take more force. That means suppose it is 50 Newton required from getting displaced from position A to position B. So students, why? What is the reason? Why the greater force is needed in the original car and smaller force is needed in the is enough to displace it from one position to the other position? The reason is mass. The reason is mass because this body is having lighter mass and this body is having heavier mass. Okay? So larger the body, that means larger the mass, then larger the inertia. Inertia means what? Inertia means the inherent property of a body to resist any change in the body. Okay? So we will say that this lighter mass is having a small inertia, and this heavy mass is having larger inertia. Okay? So we could conclude that larger the mass, greater is inertia, and smaller the mass of a body, is lesser is the inertia. So this is the point that we could reach out as a conclusion. So we can write here that the mass of a body is measure of its inertia. The mass of a body is a measure of its inertia. Okay, students? I hope that you have understood the concept of inertia and mass. If you find problems, you can make contact through telephones, through mobile phones, and any other medium which you can opt for. You can surely ask me. Okay? Students, now we will discuss about the three types of inertia. Number one is inertia of rest. Now, what happens in this category of inertia? We will say that a body, okay, at state of rest continues to be in the same state of rest unless external agent of force. And what sort of force? Unbalanced force. Unbalanced force is not applied on the body. Now, second number, inertia of motion. Suppose that if any body is in motion, you are in a moving car and the car is constantly moving from one place to another. You are going from Bogor to Ranchi and nowhere you are finding any traffic congestion, and constantly, regularly, the body is in motion. So, inertia of motion means the body is in motion, it will get continued in state of motion until unless the external force will not be applied and it will not get converted, because driver will apply the brake, then only state of motion in the body car will be converted into state of rest. Okay, so we will say that a body in motion continues to be in state of motion until external unbalanced force is not exerted. Okay. Now the number 3 inertia is inertia of direction. Inertia of direction. What do you mean by this inertia of direction? Suppose that you as a body is traveling from position A, and this is position B, again this is position C. Now when the body is moving, okay, this body is in motion, it will come in its original direction. What is the original direction? This one is original direction. Alright, if the body will keep coming and reach to point B, okay, now this original direction, okay, I have to reach out to the point C. What we have to do, what I have to do, I will have to change the direction. I will have to change the direction, change the original direction. And how can we change the original direction? By applying or by changing the direction from, okay, west to south. If I do not change, so for changing the direction and leaving the original direction and going into the new direction, this is the new direction, I will have to apply some sort of force. So this is inertia of direction. So we will say that the property by virtue of which a body is unable, the property of body by virtue of which a body is unable to change its original direction. That property will be known as inertia of direction. So students, I hope that you have understood today's class. So see you in the next class of physics. Thank you very much.